Jawn episode 87. We've been out seeing so many cool bands that we've missed a few Thursdays lately, but we are back tonight with the Hearts of Lions and the Cunning of the fabled spike-tail flying monkey. You may not be able to tell just by looking at us over your radio screen, but we are mentally and intellectually locked in as one for tonight's show. If you're easily confused by scientific terms, detailed illustrations of the workings of a Bitcoin or a jovial conversation concerning the invention of the harmonica holder, then you may want to watch this episode in the privacy of your own den. And I seldom use the word den, so you know I'm being serious. If I were to go to someone's house and, instead of knocking on the door, just texted them and said I'm here and they texted back come on in, I'm in the den, I would assume the person who texted me was wearing a button-down shirt and had a good whiskey cocktail in their hand. Help us out tonight! No matter what. No matter if you're in the den, the basement, the workshop, the upstairs attic, or your bed with a transistor radio under the pillow listening to us on WKRX, home of the Twins live broadcasts, live from Minneapolis, you should check us out tonight. I'm freshly shaved and will be giving mixed signals all night. Tune in to find out what Steve and Nathan Moore have up their sleeves. Stop on by. Wait! I just looked outside and it's pouring down snow. No lie? Wow! Stay tuned.
Three little frogs sitting on a log, one of them fell in. One frog said to the other frog, well, you better go get her. Two little frogs sitting on a log, one of them fell in. Last little frog, he sat and thought, good thing they can swim. Jabberjaw, 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 Jabberjaw. Three little frogs sitting on a log, one burst into a grin. One frog said to the other frog, wonder what's got into him. Two little frogs sitting on a log, one laughed until he was red. Last little frog, he sat and thought, must have been something I said. Jabberjaw, 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 Jabberjaw. Keep our eye on the screen. Is that us right there? Oh, I can see me pointing. Oh, and I see the meters moving, and we have to give ourselves our own round of applause because we don't have sound effects because we don't have Lex.
Lex!
We miss you, Lex.
We're Lexless.
We're Lexless.
This is a Lexless relationship.
Welcome to Jawn. I'm Nathan Moore.
I'm Kyle Hogg.
I'm Steve Moore.
It's good to be with you. Lex is not with us tonight, so we are producing ourselves, so we're going to... Are the chats working? Can you tell?
Somebody chat me. Attention, Kyle.
Make sure we have the chats. I sure hope we do. But we usually start with an arriving song and end with a leaving song. So without further ado. Haven't played this guitar much lately. Love this guy. Nylon strings.
Nylon,
as opposed to steel strings. And usually a nylon string guitar, the strings are a little further apart. And it's funny because...
Feels like it's softer.
It's softer.
Is it softer?
Yeah, it's like often called a classical guitar.
Uh-huh.
Now, is a guitar...
But it's interesting because, some people, that's their sound. Like Leonard Cohen always played a classical guitar. Willie's always played the same guitar. And I can't commit. Every now and again, I'll have a moment with this guitar where I'm like, why don't I just play this? It's such a sound. And you want your sound as an artist. You sort of want someone to recognize you within a few bars of the tone of the music or whatever.
But your songs, each song, does it have a guitar to go with it?
In some ways, yeah. Like one song.
Would that be coincident that, or would that be because you used that guitar
To
when
write
you were
it?
writing the song?
I mean, that could have a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But definitely some songs, there's some songs I would not want to play on this guitar.
Right.
Like anything that's like, it's already buzzing and falling. It's like, it's like going 80 miles an hour on a moped.
Softer.
Jonah said the chat's not working.
The chat's not working. Aw. That's so sad. Well,
Oh, wait a minute. On the plus side,
what's up on the plus side?
Jonah said on the plus side.
No one's watching.
On the plus side, I survived my carpal tunnel surgery this
Oh,
morning.
good. Congratulations, Jonah. I know that was worrisome. Survived a carpal tunnel surgery today.
Who?
So, someone on the Discord. So, if you want to chat with us, hop on Discord, hop on our Discord server, and please, if anybody is on both YouTube and Discord, you can deliver messages from the YouTube viewers. That's a lot. That's a lot to ask. We'll figure it out.
You will become a sponsor if you do that for us.
There's a battle blazing in my brain. Millions of me fighting for my name. There's a few I'm cheering on to make the claim. The rest of them are driving me insane. And all I want and all I need and all I know is I'm sitting still but I'm gaining speed. Somewhere there between my ears there sits an angry jury of my peers. My lawyer failed the bar and passed the beers. Didn't get a life, just 99 years. And all I want and all I need and all I know is I'm sitting still but I'm gaining speed. Pop, 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 popcorn, watch the moon. I keep moving pictures round my room, trying to keep this catgut in tune. The sun keeps popping up too soon. And all I want and all I need and all I know is I'm sitting still but I'm gaining. All I want and all I need, all I know is I'm sitting still but I'm gaining speed. That was fun. Thank you.
Great.
Very nice.
A round of applause. Even.
Now, is that a new one?
It's not a new one,
How,
but I've been playing it a lot this week because it got requested on Monday night, and I didn't feel too strong with it, so then I played it again Tuesday night. Or I've been playing it every night this week, almost. So there's so many songs that I wrote over the years that never really got played very much, for one reason or another. Especially with 40 years of a career, there's just a lot of tunes that, and some of them are really fun, and just they're like a dry sponge on the practice, hitting the water of practice. They're just like, oh, like because they've never gotten any love, and now the whole repertoire is sort of in the canon. So sometimes it's a little overwhelming to have so,
Now,
so
do you
many
run into
songs.
any that you just say, well, let's leave it down there on the bottom?
Yeah, well, that's actually the metaphor we use. I don't know if you quoted that by accident or because you knew it, but there's songs that are on the bottom of the ocean, is what we call them. There's this one guy, Banjo Baby, that is famous for pulling songs from the bottom of the ocean, songs that haven't been played in years and years. Like that Innocent Again that I played a little while back. He was responsible for that. And then we pull them up from the bottom of the ocean, I play them, and then we decide, well, do we throw it back or does it go in my pocket? And some get thrown back. We also recently dedicated an island to the ones that have potential, but they don't want to be in my pocket, but they shouldn't go back to the bottom of the ocean. So they're on the Isle of Misfit
Gotcha.
songs that are just waiting to be changed in some way. But they got something.
There's a limit, like 10, so when you have to add one, you have to throw one out.
No limits.
Okay.
No.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see you. I know you've been under the weather.
Yep.
It's good to,
It's nice to be back in this part of the world.
yeah.
I've traveled many places lately. And,
Did you discover anything? Did you bring anything back for us?
well, it's an interesting point because as a poet, you know that, you go through those periods where the metaphor might be you go down in the valley. But when you get back out of the valley, you always bring something out of there with you usually. Sometimes a lot, but it changes you. You learn a little bit more about yourself and your limitations, and so I'm kind of digesting all of that right now. But it's never really a complete waste of time as long as you make it back.
Right, as long as you make it back.
If you don't make it back, or if you come back injured, that's the other part that wears you out. If you hurt yourself too much in the dark, you got to try not to do that.
Right.
Just keep it stable and wait.
I feel like even if you don't bring back like a magic seashell or something, that you at least get empathy. You gain empathy down there.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I was thinking about today is one of the things I did during that time, and part of it is the whole aging thing that I'm going through for the first time. And it's a different thing for each stage you go through. But one of the things that I felt like was happening was that I was changing some of my dreams into what they really are, which is stories. So I was thinking about the difference between.
Are you talking about your aspirations or your sleeping dreams?
The dream, the things you think about, the things that you make up in your mind about how things are, and you tend to do a grandiose thing from whatever was your most successful time, like high school or wherever you were, and you're trying to make a little world up, and with full of nice little fantasies. And those fantasies are really nice, but sometimes they outgrow their validity, and you ought to pack them up and make it not a dream but a story. And when you do that, what that does is free up your dream world. And the key here is that, especially at my age, that you realize, well, wait a minute, if you shut down all your dreams, what have you got left? And I think the answer is, well, wait a minute. You shut down those dreams and made them stories and respect them as they are and put them on the shelf. But now that allows you to have new dreams, like making it to the bathroom. I'm getting too serious.
Wait, no, we needed Lex on the sound effects for that one.
All right, enough of me.
No, we've only just begun. I upgraded your cup.
Now, when you talk about putting your dreams on the shelf, do you like mentally think, all right, this is what it's going to be? Like you narrow it down to like, this is the story I would tell if anybody asked me, and then you put it away?
Yeah, when it becomes a story, it becomes part of you, and and rights to privacy and all that stuff. But yeah, it's open. It's part of my chapters of my book. It's if you're in, if your
Do
life
you have an
is
example?
well, let's just say there was somebody, a female that I always had a crush on, and I felt like that someday she would reciprocate if she just had put on these rose-colored glasses. There's got to be some day where she's going to see me differently, and then I realized that there was nothing wrong with the way she was seeing me. She just wasn't seeing me the way I wanted to be seen, but she was seeing just fine, and she wasn't going to change. So, is that healthy? Well, I think it can be just to have a little fantasy and flirt and everything, but don't take it too seriously. But if that dream becomes something you are disappointed, it's not happening, it's just not being realistic with it. In other words, I sat down and said, part of this is when you get old, you start giving away things like your hair and, you just don't make as much of everything. So you give away things. I think one of the things I'm giving away I think those dreams, be boxed up and put on the shelf as a story are things I need to give away right now. But I'm not saying they were really that unhealthy. I think they kind of kept me going, Just it's good to have dreams.
It's so important to have dreams. I'm trying to think of where Shabuzi at the Country Music Awards the other night was talking about how you never give up on your dreams, and he gave a very inspiring rendition of that familiar sermon, and I just sat there thinking about it for a while. It's such an interesting dilemma to a certain extent, because what if your dreams aren't possible, and it's actually going to just be a source of pain forever unless you turn it into a story and let it go in some way. And how, especially when you're younger, could you possibly know the difference?
That's the thing. And, when in doubt, don't give up.
Right. If there's any doubt.
If there's any doubt at all.
But it's a tough one.
Yeah. And it's part of the way your decisions you make on that are the ones that change your life. What is important?
Right.
And what are you trying to do here? So, yeah.
What do you think about that,
Kyle?
I totally understand what you're saying. Yeah, I mean, you have to have dreams. If you don't have something to look forward to every day that's not actually there. I mean, I guess you want to be totally satisfied with your life, but you also have to have some kind of dream of something you don't have yet, or something you would like to accomplish.
Do you think that's important?
Yeah,
I bet there's inspiring, content people that are just in the moment and in a place of gratitude.
Well, you're dreaming now.
I swear they're out there. I'm gonna find them.
No, even if your dream is just like that, the surprise party for your wife will go right the next weekend, or that the car will keep running until August when you can go to the
Anything
beach.
you're looking forward to is a dream.
Yeah, you have to have something to look forward to. You can't just wake up every day and say, "I'm totally happy."
Yeah, I give you an example. You were asking me what's an example. That one I gave you was a harder one, but this is a good example of what I'm talking about. I have a dream of catching a 23-inch brown trout on a dry fly. Wayne Paxton did it the other day, so I know it can be done.
His pictures are.
Yeah, but at any rate, I'm never going to do that. I could produce it, I guess, if I.
Wayne could get you on one,
Yeah,
but that's not necessarily the dream.
the dream is that I would stalk that fish. But the truth is, and it's not, I theoretically could still do that dream, but in all reality, I don't go fishing anymore.
Right.
Because it's just more trouble than I can do with it. So it's something I've given away. But the dream is still a wonderful dream.
Right.
And I can still have that dream.
And a great story.
And that's the thing I was going to mention is once you change your dream into a story, then you're free to elaborate,
Right, right.
and it grows into something that it probably never was to start with. But you're comfortable because it's just a story.
Right, right.
Now, do you think there's any difference? Well, there is a difference, but maybe you can explain it to me. What's the difference between a dream and like pretend? Like I'll be at home sometimes just with a floorboard I've marked out, doing the sideline catch, like nobody's at home, and me reaching up and dancing and stuff. I don't know if that's a dream I have to catch a touchdown, or on the sideline. But man, I do that all the time, or just be walking from the bedroom to the bathroom, stop, fake a shot. It's like it's not really a dream, but it's why do I keep doing that? Is there something wrong with me?
Not here. You're okay as long as you're in this room.
You're safe here.
I'm not sure you want to take this out in public.
Like sometimes at work even, I'll just be walking into the kitchen and like nobody's there, and I'll just I'll see the line where the tile's drawn, and they have like the gold bar there that stops it. I'll just stop quick. I'm like, oh, I got it,
Get your toes in.
Yeah, make sure that. Man, he barely had to know. They had to do a second view of that one to make sure. But it's like something, I don't even know if I look forward to it, but it's something that keeps me going sometimes.
Well, I think that's called fantasies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
so is that...
And I think they're wonderful.
So it's not pretend, it's fantasy? So it's a dream and a fantasy.
I think pretend and fantasy are in the same ballpark. I'm not contradicting you. I'm just
Well, dreams,
saying that
it's a tricky word because we have the dreams that come to us when we're sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then you have like your dream of being a movie star, going to Hollywood, some aspirational, being in the major leagues.
Well, every one of those NBA players, you talk to them and say, don't give up your dream.
Right.
And it worked for them.
Right.
But they're not interviewing the 150,000 of us that didn't make it.
That's the thing I was thinking about after Shabuzi. It's like the most people probably should give up on their dreams. And this is something I've personally been, of course, reckoning with. I'm still convinced that I'm going to play Carnegie Hall someday. And I see no reason why that's not possible.
Oh, I think it's totally
maybe
possible.
Not probable, but it is a good driving, undulating force beneath my art and my.
I think that's a legitimate dream.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
But I do also understand that there are scenarios where that's a version of insanity, and it's just sort of interesting that like if I was 54 years old and still thinking I'm going to play Major League Baseball someday, at a certain point your friends and family would gather around you if it was unhealthy in some way. I guess that
it's like, Nathan, you shouldn't play baseball, but you can still box.
Oh, we need Lex. There's so many, but I think in some ways it goes back to like what Kether has told us about in psychology. Like what determines whether something is a disorder or not is whether or not it negatively impacts your life. If I'm still thinking I'm going to play in the Major League Baseball, I'm going to make it to the show someday, even though I'm not. If I'm just like out there, I'm just this goofy, eccentric character that everybody loves because he's always there at the crack of dawn in the batting box, taking his practice swings, and like if there's a version of living in that thing, even though it's not going to happen, that could be healthy. And in that sense, why worry about it? Why convince me otherwise? On the other, am I right about that, or am I?
Yeah, my first reaction to that is that, yeah, well, if that makes him happy, who's to say he shouldn't follow that dream? In other words, the ritual of getting ready might be what he enjoys.
Right.
It's not my call.
Right.
If that makes you happy and doesn't hurt anybody else, go for it. But, he's probably going to be pretty boring and I don't want to talk to you or know you or hang out with you.
Now,
That's my call.
we have a good comment from the crowd.
Oh, good.
All right, playing Carnegie Hall feels more like a mission than a dream.
Oh, I like that.
I like that. Yeah. I like that too.
My I've probably told you all this before, but my long-standing dream of it is, and this is where there's a chaos element here that it might all backfire, but everybody in the audience is going to bring an instrument and be my band.
Man.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a long time.
Wait a minute, this is at Carnegie Hall?
At Carnegie Hall.
Wow.
Yep. Nathan Moore and the Orchestra. And the seating is like, there's the rhythm section, there's the horn section, the percussionists are going to be in the balcony.
No, these are all musicians, or just anybody that shows up?
Anybody. If you go, you're going to have to bring at least a kazoo.
They will be selling kazoos up front.
That's right. For $35, get a kazoo.
Yes, autographed.
It's funny because I've always imagined it sounding amazing. There's a part of me that lately is a little concerned that maybe it's not going to sound that great.
Now, would you?
In my head,
you're
it's
backing
just
out?
No. I just think everybody is going to need to practice.
Let's
I think
just,
you might want to prepare a list of people you don't want to come. They have no rhythm
We
whatsoever.
might need to do 3 nights.
Yeah. One night for the melodically challenged.
Right.
now,
like me.
if you were out there doing that, like say like you were in the third song and you stopped, and you just stopped playing and just listen, would that get like so much to you that you would have to stop, or would you be able to keep performing?
What do you mean?
Like if you, let's say you were performing and this third song, the groove was going, you stopped and just looked up and stopped playing your guitar, and you just felt all that stuff coming back at you. Would that be overwhelming, or would you be able to start playing again?
I just want to cry.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'd
Would
just be
it
so
like,
happy.
Yeah. That would be a powerful thing to just hear that coming back at you, and then to start playing again, like your brain would just be like.
I did a version of this one on the Hippie Fiasco tour. That was the birth of the orchestra, and we encouraged everybody that came to the fiascos to bring an instrument and accompany me from where they were sitting. And I even did a workshop at High Sierra Music Festival, which is one of the bigger versions of that, where everybody was encouraged to bring their instruments. And just so many magic moments happened because of that.
Really?
Did it on Jam Cruise too, where I told everybody to bring their instruments, and so many surprises. Like at the High Sierra workshop, just all of a sudden this cello, didn't know the person at all, and he just stole the moment, and it was just so beautiful. It was just
Wow.
such a thing. But back to the other conversation, there was something I was thinking about with I was thinking about this the other day, about how, in sports, most people, like 1% of people that play football make it to the NFL, probably less than that. And so in some ways that seems sort of sad, but the way I was thinking about it the other day, which is sort of fascinating to me, was that the dream created by the NFL fuels hundreds of thousands of kids having this incredible experience.
The dream.
And the dream is part of it, and it fuels it in such an interesting way, but it doesn't matter that they don't make it to the NFL, because the experience they have in little league and high school, maybe even college, is so profound and rewarding.
Well, yeah, it's a great point.
And
I like it.
And you can still do it at work. You can still tiptoe the sidelines and catch the ball at work.
you're still living the dream right here. Did you ever play as a kid?
I played Little League baseball, football, and
Football.
basketball. Yeah.
What position in football?
I was actually a quarterback in football.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry to seem so surprised.
Started off as center against Thomas Redmond. Remember him?
Oh my goodness.
Thomas Redmond knocked my ass about 40 feet back down this thing. They're like, yeah, we're not playing center anymore.
Yeah. You don't want to line up across from Thomas Redmond.
I was so disappointed in my little league football. I didn't make it through one season. In the backyard and stuff, I was always wide receiver or quarterback.
Right.
So I was not prepared to be put on the line like that. I was just not cut out for it.
Right.
It was-
No. Don't blame you a bit.
just not cut out for
Talking about dreams and ambitions and stuff. Just Nathan and Mr. Moore are old Marinos fans, and I've started going there lately. And we were in there this week, and there was only like 3 tables in there, and it was just like a normal night. We could hear music playing, and I'm like, "Who's playing music?" A guy playing the guitar, like really pretty sounding guitar. And we're like, is a jam night or something going on? And Stephanie goes, no, it's our waiter. Like, when he wasn't waiting on anybody, he was just over there playing the guitar.
Oh, that's good to hear.
And it was so cool that he just, when he wasn't busy, he just felt like, playing some music and entertaining the people. That was a good feeling. And then, if your food would come up, he'd bring it to you and talk a little bit, then go pick up his guitar and play again.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how I got fired in high school from a job. Playing guitar when I wasn't. Apparently, I was supposed to be in the lifeguard chair or something.
Supposedly, I was supposed to be loading stock on a shelf.
Yeah.
But it's nice to see people just. I mean, I'm sure his dream wasn't to play for 3 tables at Marinos, but he just was enjoying playing music and had some spare time and was entertaining everybody. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's his mission.
I got a game here if we have a downtime.
What do you
All
got? What
right.
kind of game you got?
I've thought it up this afternoon.
A game you made up?
Well, I was thinking about our history with games. We've had a couple different things there down the road.
Okay, Google it.
Okay,
Classic.
Google it was a
You ever watch any of those old
I
episodes?
did. When I moved up here, people told me about it. I listened to it a couple times.
Oh,
is
live?
that right?
Mm. They're all still on YouTube if you ever want to go
Are
down the
they?
rabbit hole.
One of them I watched, I think you fell asleep because Nathan said, Dad, you're still, and you were sitting in the chair. I think you'd fallen asleep after asking the question.
That was just to take a moment. That was quite a cool thing we did. That was during the pandemic.
I don't remember much about it.
But we had a whole system. We had a sponsorship from Taos Home Hot Sauce, who would send jars of hot sauce to the winners, which is a huge thing. And so there's actually something that you're playing for. And we had the dad on the Zoom with 10, 20 questions. Was it 20?
I think it was about 20.
20 questions. We had Kethra upstairs keeping scores. So there was a camera up there with a piece of paper with her like putting hash marks and everybody's name that are in the chat. And so Dad would ask the question, then I would start reading the chats, and each answer would come in, and I would read the answer to Dad, and Dad would be like, nope, yep, that's the right answer. And then Kethra would mark the hash mark, and it was a whole thing. We had all these rules, and it was a legit game show that you could completely play from home. And people that played were in it to win it. It was exciting
I remember
stuff.
Stephanie was playing one time. She was like, one of the things is going in there faster than the other ones.
There was a lot of contention there, like people, because we were streaming on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube,
Right.
just like we do today, and people would be like, "Oh man, all these Twitch users are coming in sooner than I am. I want my hot sauce." It was contentious. Some people got upset. memories. Good stuff.
All right, so this is a game along those lines?
Well, yeah, there are questions that I was looking through old journals, which I do a little more often than I do it sometimes, and it's really interesting. I think this was 1994, so there was some interesting stuff there.
Wow.
One I read, I don't remember what year it was, but one read that, I just pull things out, and I had written in that journal, I can't remember the year, maybe you can, that Chuck Berry opened for Nathan last night.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is that all
New
about?
Year's Eve, Times Square, New York City.
What year was that?
Gosh, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't New Year's, but yeah, isn't that
Yeah,
amazing?
when was that?
Chuck Berry.
Technically, he just played before us. But I was waiting for Chuck Berry to get out of the dressing room so we could go into it, and it was quite a memory.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
At any rate, I came up with I was looking at lyrics, and I wrote a poem. Well, I didn't write a poem. I wrote something down, and then that led to the other questions. So we could do one. We don't have to do them all. We could just do one and go somewhere else. But I thought we had a little downtime,
So it's just Kyle and I.
it's just Kyle. Well, no, anybody out there. Can,
People aren't, something's
we,
going
what
on.
we'll do?
Yeah, the chat's broken.
Yeah.
Sorry if you're just tuning in. We're not ignoring you, but the chat is not working.
All right. So
tonight.
you can play at home. Just throw out whatever you think, and then, in other words, we're the opposite of OK Google it. We don't want you to Google it because we'll talk.
Right.
We'll talk about it before you.
So
if you know
I
it,
thought of a mechanic we could use.
All right, we're getting a mechanic.
and do you have any more light, like a flashlight?
I got just the thing for you. I think.
Man, look at this. We're getting set up now.
Oh,
How you like the big band featuring Tommy Newsom playing tonight?
Tommy Newsom.
Doc.
Why do you remember that?
Doc's torn in Vegas, so we got Tommy Newsom here with us
Clip
tonight.
that onto your book if you want.
Tommy can be seen in Cleveland at the Civic Center in early January. Chuck Berry will be opening up for him.
All right, so we'll use this little frog here.
And
All
what
right,
is
so instead of a buzzer, whoever grabs the frog.
Oh, you and me have to fight for the frog?
Yep.
Man, all right.
So whoever is holding the frog can give.
Are these
the
right
first
or wrong
guess.
answers or
So
opinion answers?
I'm going to answer. I'm going to ask a question. And one of
Whoever grabs it, this is the buzzer.
No, wait a minute. Is it a right or wrong answer or like an opinion answer?
it's a right or wrong answer, and I will determine what's right or wrong. in this world.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's the way chemistry works.
All right.
Leave us in, Tommy.
Science.
This is where I read this, and then I couldn't remember where the song goes. So what I'm going to do is give you lyrics, and you have to tell me the song or answer the question, whether it might be the author of the song. So here's the first one. Either the songwriter or the name of the song. You get a point for each.
Okay.
So it's 2 points total if you know where this line might be found in a song. Now, I understand that you're going to get double points because these are old songs, and you shouldn't know
Such
them.
a young man.
And I was raised on his music
But he
collection.
stole my stuff, so he knows all.
He
So,
stole my credit card, so he's got to pay for it.
so here's the line, and I couldn't remember where I read it. You'll catch a fleeting glimpse of someone's fading shadow.
This is a song lyric?
It's a song lyric.
You'll
What's
catch
the
a
name of the
glimpse
song and who
someone's
wrote
fading
it?
shadow.
I'm just turning.
It was a
around.
one-hit wonder.
You'll catch a glimpse of
You'll catch a fleeting glimpse of someone's fading shadow.
man.
And the whole song is full of that kind of poetry.
Wow. No idea.
No idea.
All right. Well, the answer is, and I wonder if anybody got it, but you probably know by now. That's a really hard one because I didn't know it either. But when I looked it up on Google it, and it's from Bob Lind, The Elusive Butterfly of Love.
The Elusive Butterfly of Love.
It's the title.
How did you not know that?
I
was
mean,
Bob
come on.
The
Lind.
title is Elusive Butterfly, and it's one of the prettiest songs, which is why I'm really bringing it up, is you ought to hear the lyrics.
Nice.
You just
No, it's like an
check-
early rock and roll song, or what is it?
It was in
Like an easy
1964. It's one of my first favorite lyric songs. Let's see now.
Was he a folk singer, or like a
He was just
balladeer or
one of those
something?
popular young Tim Hardin,
Right.
Bob Lind. He wasn't around very long. He wrote.
Should have changed his name.
You think?
Bob Lind.
Yeah.
I mean, come
I
on.
couldn't remember who it was at all, but I loved the song at the time, and I had a copy of it in the basement somewhere, or here, probably here.
Mm.
You still have those old books, the record folders and things, the ones that had the 45s.
I have
little-
one full of Beatles.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty much the only one of those
Yeah.
books I think
I think
I
I
have.
had several of those.
The Elusive Butterfly of Love.
Yeah, it's worth listening to. In fact, that's what all of these are, just songs that you ought to
Check out.
ask somebody to play for you. I date Alexa, but I don't know who you're seeing.
No, can you give us more than one line, like the one that rhymes after it, so it gets some?
Yeah, I could have given you more hints, but neither one of you would
Yeah,
have gotten
wouldn't
it.
help.
Yeah. All right, here's one. This is not a song.
Still, Bob Lind. I wish I'd been his agent. I mean, we got to do something about that.
Yeah,
name.
it didn't
Bobby
work.
Riz.
It didn't work.
Bobby Lightning.
I read this in my journal from that year, 1949, and I thought so I want you to tell me who said this. This is
Okay.
a famous. Well, I don't know how famous it is. It's a person that's famous.
So it better not be Bob Lind. The answer to everyone was Bob Lind.
Y'all,
Again,
y'all,
Bob Lind.
y'all know Shabuzi.
Yeah.
Right. History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes.
Oh, that rings a bell.
It shouldn't repeat itself.
This is not a song. This is just
No,
a
this
quote.
is a quote I read from my journal.
That was Dwight D. Eisenhower, wasn't it?
Is that an official? No.
Mark Twain.
Very good.
Yeah?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Ding, ding, ding.
Gosh.
2 points.
One and the same.
Wow.
Wow, that's good.
I like that one.
That is
See,
good.
Good
the apple
job.
doesn't fall far from the tree.
All right,
What's your
here's
name,
another one.
Bob
This is
Williams?
from a popular song of the early 70s.
That from the first popular song you mentioned.
You got to name the group that did it. There's a hint there. There's a group that did it. And the name of the song. And again, this is just one little line, but you might be able to connect it with the rest of them. And it's, some people say this town don't look good in snow.
Some people say this town don't look good in snow. Sounds like a Glenn
How's that
Campbell
even
type
possible?
song or something.
What town doesn't look good in snow?
Some people say this town don't look good in snow.
This is funny.
No, it's a group. Okay, so it's not Glenn Campbell. Like what time?
Bee Gees.
No.
What time period?
I think this was the early 70s.
The Association.
Nope.
We get just one guess or multiple?
No, you can keep going.
Well, I was just gonna be throwing out names.
But
I don't know.
let me see if I can give you a hint.
Was it on the radio?
It was a popular song. They had several hits. They were a California group.
Mamas and Papas?
No. Maybe later 70s.
The Monkees.
No.
Crosby, Stills and Nash.
No.
The Birds.
Nope.
He's
We give up.
He's getting
All
frustrated.
right, I'll give you a hint. These guys are such good songwriters. This song was like a big hit, and they used the line in this particular song. They used the line "alligator lizards in the air" to rhyme a verse.
Alligator lizards in the air.
Yes,
Is it
that's a line from this
Jefferson
song.
Airplane?
Well, you could just sing anything back in the day.
Really. I'm thinking, who wrote that line? Well, the guy over there that just did the acid.
Right.
It's a California group.
Alligator lizards in the air. And they're driving down the road.
Dave Clark for now. It's
They're
Quicksilver
driving down the
Messenger.
road. Well, they were driving down the highway.
America.
Got it.
Bam.
Wow.
Ding ding ding.
Ventura Highway.
Ventura Highway.
Yeah, that line is in there. Both of those lines are in there.
Wow.
Alligator lizards in the air.
Some
that's
say
an-
this town doesn't look good in snow.
That's the third line of the song.
What is that? How could that be possible?
Because America could do it.
Yeah, right. They could sing anything.
I mean, they could sing alligator
They
lizards in
prove
the
that
air.
time and time again.
Exactly.
I've been through the desert on a horse with no name. It felt good to get. What is it?
Oh, the rain.
Yeah, it's something.
La, la, la,
Yeah.
la, la.
Yeah, they've
You
had.
don't remember because there ain't.
And nobody else wrote songs like they did.
It didn't matter what they said because their voices were so sweet and the music had a vibe.
It's
You could
amazing.
You could tell within 2 bars, oh, it's America. It's just
Yeah.
it's just a vibe.
And you didn't get disgusted like you did with a lot of, when you said it that quickly.
right.
It still sounded good. Mm-hmm. The only other
I
one-
remember that every time I tried to cover an America song, I couldn't pull off the words.
Yeah,
It's
you
like,
can't say that.
Right.
Alligator
With a
lizards
straight
in the
face.
air and not have somebody in Stanton say, what?
Right. Here he comes, the alligator lizard dude, in the air.
All right, that was a good one. Let me do another one.
So we got 1, nobody answered, and then 2 to Nathan.
Yeah.
So it's Nathan
But,
against
this
ignorance.
really isn't fair to you because
No, that's all
you're
right.
such a young fella.
I'm older
Wait,
than
aren't
me.
you older than me?
I'm older than both of you
Older than both of you.
combined. People still say
Now, we're
that.
not talking about IQ here. All right, here's one you ought to get. They only let him slip away out of kindness, I suppose.
Towns Van Zant, Poncho and Lefty.
Woohoo!
Ding, ding, ding. Did you
Yeah.
know that one? Did I just beat you to the buzzer?
Yeah,
I know the song now that you said it, but I wouldn't have guessed it.
yeah, very good.
Mm,
And a lot of people would have said Willie Nelson or Merle wrote it, but
Right.
it's a Towns Van Sant song. There you go. All right, we're going to get through this.
We're going to get through this.
Wasn't that America? Wasn't that one of America's great hits too? We're gonna get through this.
Yeah. Toads and slippery people. That was the line in that song. Oh, let's see.
Now you thought of these all at the same time and wrote them down, or you
No,
compiled
I
them?
found that one and then I just started thinking. My head jumped in. And I thought of other lines for songs and
Okay.
tried to figure some things out. And then one thing led to another. This is actually where, this is where it really started. Because I wrote this poem by Kierson where I wrote that, I'm going to try to paraphrase it, I'm not going to try to, but I was saying that I can't write a poem anymore using the term tenement halls. And the idea was, but then the response was, Well, if you just add 3 more lines, you're just dead. But the original statement, do you know what the original statement alludes to?
Paul Simon?
Very good.
Gosh,
God, that's pretty impressive.
you two are like,
Yeah.
you must be related or something.
Yeah,
right?
that's pretty amazing. And the people bowed and prayed. Now,
To the
here's,
neon god they made.
all right, the words, what were the words that the neon sign said?
The words of the prophet are written on the subway walls and tenement halls.
That's what the sign said. So he was saying in the poem, and what I was writing it, or I was quoting, I can't use the word tenement halls, but you can if you just use it in that context. But in other words, you can't paraphrase Paul Simon. So you think about all these lines that these songwriters have written that you can't use anymore.
Yeah, they peed on them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's their line.
Yeah.
What is a tenement hall?
Well, the tenements would be the halls where there's the graffiti in the tenement houses,
Like the old
the
rundown
poor
apartments. Yeah.
the apartment houses in the big cities that just go, in the halls and hallways. There's people write graffiti. So he was talking about
A tenement hall is a name for housing?
Well, the tenement is the name of the house, the type of building where you have a lot of apartments.
You know, like when the cop shows, they go to the apartments to get somebody, and they bang on the door. That's like a tenement hall.
Is that an American word? A tenement is a building with multiple dwellings, typically with apartments or flats. Sounds British to me. On each floor and a shared entrance stairway access. Tenements are common in the British Isles, particularly Scotland.
Well, they're always
In
all
New York
the-
City,
yeah.
tenements were low-rise buildings with multiple apartments that were narrow and typically made up of 3 rooms. Interesting.
Yep. So he was talking about the graffiti artists at the time were the prophets.
But it is interesting that if you tried to put Tenement Hall into a song, it would be a Paul Simon reference.
Exactly. That was my point.
It is interesting.
He took it, and you can't use it anymore. Whereas if he wasn't a good, famous songwriter and that song wasn't famous, it wouldn't matter.
Now, do you ever slip in like little bits of lines from somebody, like as a tribute to them, or just as a tip of your hat to them?
Yeah. I got a newish song. I sang it to y'all once called New Dream, which probably be a good fitting closing song so far. But all right, you tell me what I'm referencing. The last verse is, now on the sidewalk in my old hometown, I turn the corner and I'm struck by a sound. It is coming from the Dream Cafe.
Greg Brown.
Ding, 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 2 points.
Why? Because he's young like me and gets 2 points for every one to you.
You got another?
I think that's it.
Oh, that was fun.
I think maybe I counted to 5, but I only wrote down 4. I sometimes do that to save time.
What did I win? Tell him what he won, Bob.
Well, he won a trip over to Selma Boulevard, and he can go into Steve Moore's basement
And have
pick
anything
out
he
and
wants.
take anything he wants home.
Yeah, winner.
But mainly, you're fulfilling the dream.
Yeah,
So it's
living the dream.
Yeah. You have a sad story to tell.
Well, that's
Womp,
nice
womp.
that your music and has continued into his life. Then he's continuing on into the.
There
next
is a passage
generation.
of that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
100%.
Yeah, those records have lived in many ways.
Mm-hmm.
Now, But imagine you're not a big hip hop fan. But what do you take of like people like that taking like old songs with a very recognizable beat that everybody recognizes and putting their own lyrics over it? Do you think that's stealing, or is that a good thing?
I don't have any experience with it. I couldn't give you an example of something like that that I've heard that I like or don't like. So I don't know much about it. Tell you the truth, but I guess they say it's a sincere sort of flattery.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what they're doing with it.
Right.
I mean, I'm just really old-fashioned, and like a lot of the stuff last night, I watched about a half hour of the Country Music Awards, and it's just so overproduced
Mm-hmm.
and so many yucky, just production.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about how it looks, not how much the way it sounds, and it's just I wasn't entertained.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's okay if that's what you like, and that's where country music is. But I saw that happening. Anybody that knows Nashville saw it happening,
Mm-hmm.
and it wasn't
Sort of across the board too. It's not just country music.
I think I'm
Pop
sure,
music in general is different.
Yeah, it seems to be
They all have the same production now too. Underneath all the music, there's
exactly.
a good hip hop beat.
Yeah, yeah. It's gotten to be very, I don't know, boring. It's just, and the people are dressing up in clothes. It just becomes. It's almost like everything now is a Las Vegas show type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where people used to go to Las Vegas, they were seeing something really unusual, and now it just seems like everything's Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not really, yeah. It's boring after a while.
Mm-hmm. Overstimulation.
Yeah, yeah.
My dad was a big fan of like just easy listening, like jazz guitar, just Earl Kluge and
Earl Kluge.
yeah, like Stanley Jordan, all that type of stuff, But so I'm listening to all his CDs still, and every one of them from the 2000s, like the first 8 songs will be just some cover of a classic or some original, just smoothing you out. And usually about the 9th song's got some hip hop guy rapping over it. Like everything's got to have a little bit of hip hop now so we can sell it. I was like, what the hell is this guy rapping about on an Earl Kluge album? Do 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 do. Come on down. It's like I was like, man, this is like the weirdest thing that was just the the thing they had to do at the time, trying to
Yeah.
get something on the radio. Very strange.
I just had a Stanley Jordan memory, but it's not. I was trying to think in my head if it was that good of a story. I don't remember it all well enough, but I know that we were on the spot on Jam Cruise, and we had decided that we were going to go play in the elevator. Like people would just pop up and be playing music in the elevator when you get on. But right before that, I think Mitch had talked us up to Stanley Jordan. It was like, you got to come to the spot. You got to hear what these guys are doing or whatever. The bunch of songwriters, you'll love it. And so right when Mitch had brought Stanley Jordan to the spot, we had decided to go play in the elevator or something. So Stanley just came. I never got to play with him, but he hopped around with Mitch following us for a good hour in the middle of the night on Jam Cruise
That's
one
cool.
night, just checking us out. And it was just so surreal. I was like, oh my God.
That's cool.
Stanley Jordan is running around. It was just a very surreal night. All right, here's a question for you guys. Any thoughts about the apparently these new cameras have gone up all around Stanton? Have you all heard any buzz about that?
No.
I saw the newspaper article.
Did you?
Not the newspaper, but the TV article.
Mm-hmm.
And they said it's not geared toward monitoring speed.
Right.
So it's just.
It could be, but it's not at the moment.
It's not, yeah. So the only thing they're using it for is to identify license plates, which I think is a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they stay on the public roads, I don't have any problem with it.
So it's focused on the streets, not like if you get robbed somewhere or anything.
Yeah, there's like 6 of them now. Like, but apparently it's a special technology that is just scanning every license plate it sees and matching it against the database. But it can get tripped. Here's an anecdote that I read on a comment on Facebook. The guy was saying that his cleaner had something went wrong with their insurance company, and the insurance company decided to pull their coverage. And so then she's officially an uninsured driver, and she was pulled over within an hour because of these cameras.
And
If you're in the database, it all happens in a split second. It's like, oh, that license plate uninsured.
Wow.
And got pulled over within an hour of the insurance company stopping their coverage.
Right. Well, that's where
there's some slippery slope stuff. Like,
yeah, that's called use and abuse.
mm-hmm.
If they use it for what they're saying for, which is like if there was a crime and they were trying to identify if a car went through that area,
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing. But to go after people like that, it's just like in the old days with when they have the radar traps. It's one thing if some people are abusing it and you catch it, but to set up a trap where you go over the hill and you're at 35 and they pull you over, that's abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you have to look at things like that. So it could be abused, but
Right.
I don't think, somebody has to do all that work.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who's going to do it, but I don't know. But yeah, I think you could run into problems with it. But
It's interesting how like that. I feel like that logic is completely sound, makes perfect sense, and at the same time is probably ushering in the Orwellian future that we already sort of live in.
right,
But it's like, it happens sort of slowly, and it's all completely justifiable because you just think about the children. It's always the children. Well, it's just for Amber Alerts or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay. And the next thing you know, like, I mean, we already sort of live in an Orwellian situation where like Kether's car, her new car, it there's this app that comes with it. And with the app, you can start the car, which is sort of cool. Middle of winter, you're in the kitchen making your coffee, start your car, let it warm up, let it defrost the windows. But what that also tells me is that she can cut on her car from the internet, so they can too. And they could probably cut off her car with the internet. So the moment she's on like if she's wanted for any reason, they could cut off her car. And it's just built in, it's nice. You can start your car in the winter. But there's also this other thing happening that is happening with every one of our cell phones. Our every move is tracked. Anybody that wants to know where we are right now can find out if you're in the government or whatever. And all these things. And then I think about how just when I was a child, remember how in all those scenes in the Dukes of Hazzard and stuff, all you had to do was get to the county line, and then all the cop cars had to like they couldn't go, they couldn't follow you there. It just, even when I was a kid, like the fact that you had the ability to disappear is I feel like it's a profound human condition psychological thing that we all sort of suffer from now, the fact that you can't disappear anymore. And just there's just some kind of like psychic weight on that being watched in a way that's so worldwide and universal now. Like I remember, I got in trouble in California and then couldn't get into Canada. Whereas when I was a kid, that was not the case. I could get in trouble in Virginia, and California would have no idea about it. They didn't share the database. They didn't share that information. Now it's all not only shared, but it's instantaneous. Like the minute you're in trouble in California, they know about it in Saudi Arabia. It's like, how did that happen? So I feel like there's this, and there's no way to. It's not like you can stand up against it or anything. It's not like a revolution call, but it's just interesting.
Set the numbers for the kids.
Right. It's for the kids, and so many things that have happened in life are like that, and a lot of it is for the kids. I remember when the internet first happened, there was a while there where there was a thing called Napster. Have we talked about this? Did you ever do that?
I know what it is, but I never did it. No.
That was really profound because it was sort of like the promise of the internet. And what it basically was is if you had Napster on your computer, you could point to a folder on your computer, and anything that you put in that folder was available to the entire world that had Napster. So I could go into Napster and like Google Bob Dylan bootleg, and there would be thousands of files I could download because it was just my computer is connected to the internet. I've told Napster I can share everything in this folder, so like all my music or something. And everybody all over the world did this. And it was all encrypted, and no one could tell what was going on. But the thing that was really interesting about it and was revolutionary was if you had a folder on your computer and you had a Bob Dylan bootleg that I wanted, and I searched on Napster and I saw it, I would just click on it and it would download to my computer, and it would go from your computer directly to my computer. So it was really what they call peer-to-peer. Everybody's personal computer was connected, and everybody was sharing files, no middleman. Now what happened was all of a sudden shady stuff started happening. Sharing like bad stuff. People were sharing bad snuff films or whatever, and so the alarm bells went off, and they're like, nope, we need to stop this. And so now then you had gatekeepers, and that's like Spotify. So they made that illegal, and then you have Spotify, you have gatekeepers now to make sure that there's someone. But am I making any sense? Like that initial thing where like we were all actually connected peer to peer all over the world was so revolutionary and so profound, such a threat to like the music business. Like Metallica was one of the first people that like came out against Napster, which is like cry me a river. Rich people worry they're not going to make more money, whereas like I like having my music out there because I'm nobody, and now I have a distribution system that the entire world, there are people, young people getting famous because they would be shared all over the world on Napster. I don't know, it was just this thing, it was like the promise of the internet that was like really exciting and really threatening to the institutions that existed, but because of the children, basically, like the they made it illegal, and that kind of stuff doesn't exist anymore. But there was a little moment there. I don't know. I guess it's just that like us feeling like we need a watcher, we need an authoritarian gatekeeper to because there's bad people in the world. I don't know. We give a lot away to that notion or whatever. I don't think there's any way that we could ever get it back. But like with these cameras around town and the way that we're tracked and all that kind of stuff, there's a notion of freedom that I don't think kids today could even conceive. They would never miss it. They have no idea really what I'm talking about. And it's fascinating for me to just, my age is sort of perfect that I witnessed it. I've seen so much of it happen in my lifetime. But I guess it's always sort of been the case.
Yeah, we lived 20-some years out of. I mean, I would be dead by tomorrow if I wasn't connected. I just want to hear, what is, somebody had something to say to me. Man, you used to go and not talk to your best friend for like a week. You didn't give a crap what they were doing. Now you're like, what are you doing? You know, God, you didn't respond to my text. You know, it's like it's such instant gratification now.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Well, you were telling that, and you had spoken earlier about Stanley Jordan, and going back to the old days, how people used to track you and get you. The last band I went and saw was this band, Driving and Crying. They've been around like 40 years.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't know if there was any original. Well, I knew the lead singer was the original member, but I didn't really know who the band was now. So we're just standing there, and this guy comes up and goes, "What do you think about these guys?" And I said, "Oh, I like them." He goes, "Think they have a chance? You think they'll ever make it?" Sort of laughing and stuff. And I started talking to him. I said, "Well, they've been around 40 years. They're probably not, going to break out." And then I started thinking, man, this might be the drummer or something from the band, just asking people questions. So then I got all paranoid, like, man, this is like the oldest trick in the book. He's going to get up there and like, F you, dude, down there. He said we'd never make it. So I just started like giving him these real vague answers, like, please, I don't know who you are, but leave me alone. I don't want to see you on stage, point me out. But like, that's the stuff we used to worry about, that one person would hear you say something. Now, the whole world knows everything you say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yep.
But he wasn't in the band, thank goodness. He didn't point me out and ridicule me for saying after 40 years I didn't think they'd be the next big thing.
How do you know what's right and wrong in terms of that kind of stuff? Like at what point? I mean, it seems like it's just whatever we agree on as a society or whatever is the right thing. There's not necessarily a morality to it, like what's against the law or what's like whether let's just say like drugs being legal. Is there a way to philosophically determine the right or wrong, or is it really just a cultural, whatever the culture wants to be, what is what defines right and wrong?
Well, I think your first thing you look at for wrong is the definition being something that you're doing that hurts another person in some way without a good reason.
But advocates on either side of a lot of issues can make the case that there's harm being caused by
Definitely.
the other side's perspective.
Yeah, and that's why there's a disagreement with everything, including
But
right
as an
and wrong.
individual, is there a process for determining that kind of stuff? Like,
Well, I think you just have to honestly ask yourself, is this behavior going to be detrimental in some way? And, if you're, I don't know, it depends on, you have to ask yourself if you're doing it for the right reason or the wrong reason and everything that comes along. You can be selfish, but that doesn't make it wrong. And you can be gratuitous, but that doesn't make it right. It's just, I don't know. I think it's something you have to decide for yourself, and then you can get into trouble because your self-value, your self-decisions might disagree with the law of the land.
mm-hmm.
And you have different laws wherever you go, so that can happen. But so there's that legal law thing, and then there's your own personal law thing. Mm-hmm. But you have to make those decisions based on both of those. There's some things I don't do because they're against the law, and other things I don't do because they're against my own laws. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do either of y'all have talking about that, do either of y'all have like a situation that you would consider it not wrong, but totally like this guy I work with is a hunter, and he comes back and tells me all about gutting the deer and stuff. I'm like, oh, and I don't mind him doing that, but it's like, oh my God, I could never do that. I could never shoot a deer. It just seems terrible to me. I just feel like, oh my God, if he gave me the gun and to shoot a deer, I would just, turn the gun on myself. But then after he's telling me that, and I'm thinking how bad that is, I'll drive down and get the chicken tenders. That, like, how is it wrong with I just want somebody else to do my killing for me, as long as I'm not there actually. So I'm always like, why am I worried about him killing this? I'm not, and I don't care. He's not doing it. He's not being mean or bad or anything. He eats the meat. But that just sounds like, oh my God, how could you eat anything that was killed? And then, driving back with a Big Mac, and it's like it's like, what? How can I have both of those opinions that are basically the same thing? One, his side is a little bit creepy, and my side is totally fine.
I can relate to that.
Well, that's sort of like the Napster thing, like you're saying. For a lot of people, it's the gateway to exposure. It's like they finally open this gate and we're all on a level footing. And then like Metallica can be like, man, we were making $30 million a record. Now we're only making 25. We got to shut this thing down. It's like, it's any opportunities can be seen through so many different visions.
Right.
Now, do you know about this Blue Sky thing?
Yeah, I signed up for it. Nathan Moore songs.
Now, do you pay? Are you on Twitter very much? Was that becoming? I'm not even on it. But was it becoming terrible?
I'm still on. I didn't quit anything. I've joined. I had joined True Social when it came out.
Oh wow!
I joined them all just because I'm a curious soul. But I'm not posting and engaging like that, so it's all just another thing to scroll down and read what people are saying. X is a little bit more exciting than Blue Sky just because there's actually a diversity of opinion, although X is just it's a mess. It's a mess because Elon Musk, even though he claims to be this big free speech advocate, completely just turned X into a pro-Trump social media platform. It's just very interesting to see that happen. And now they're wondering if he's going to do it because X is all over the world. Right. So it's like, is he going to get involved in politics in other countries and boost favored candidates? He's a very interesting oligarch that he's become. Just sort of like a...
Now, what do you think about the old, I can't think of the term, but so everybody moves to Blue Sky, then what if all these creepers start going over there then just to get back?
Just trolls following them over there. Yeah.
How do they keep that from happening? There's really no way to keep that from happening.
I'm not sure what mechanisms they have.
It seems like there's some people that their thrill in life is just to upset other people with horrible posts and mean things. You're like, just go away.
Trolling is it's an interesting cultural phenomenon. You both have to watch the documentary, the Not Friendly Network or whatever it's called. I'll send you a link to it. But I feel like there's so much that happens online in all these different communities and stuff that most people aren't that interested in, but at the same time, they've shaped everything. The 4chan, troll culture, memes, all these things. I mean, every meme that you see was made by somebody. There's a whole industry out there cranking these memes out that we're just sharing. We don't really care. But I wish people were way more fascinated by online culture and hackers and the deep web and all that, all of it, just because it's shaping our culture so much. But most normal people aren't that interested in it. And there's no way to really get them interested in it. But I wish being savvy in that space is I feel like it's so important. And I wish that every liberal that left these other media platforms all go be together in their bubble on Blue Sky, I wish they had just decided to get better at holding their ground and standing their ground where they were and becoming savvier and making better memes and getting better at being on podcasts like Joe Rogan and stuff. Don't abandon all these spaces. Make better arguments, make better content, make better memes. Play the game that's being played, or you're just going to forfeit. You're just going to be like, oh, I don't want to engage on that level, which is, I mean, that's definitely an option, but I don't know.
You see that pattern quite often. I trace it, and I don't want to get too political here, but I'll give you an example. Would be religion, and I think I went through it myself locally, so I can see what happened. But when I look at the what they call what's the fundamentalist term for
Evangelicals?
The evangelicals, yeah. Who are the evangelicals? And I think what happens is similar to what I see you suggesting. I don't know anything about it, but it sounds like to me like you're saying that I saw this happen in the Christian church. In my background, I saw it happen, and I was a part of it, is that if you had anywhat of a liberal interpretation of Christian values, which didn't take much, like to love your neighbor and weird stuff like that,
Right.
where it was based on love. There was a radical group of people that wanted to make it like the Old Testament, and they wanted women to be subservient to the men, and they wanted the women to be happy with that, and serve them, and that's what they wanted, and they were fighting for that, and it's an age-old battle. You can see it in the church itself, and so this whole liberation thing, it's been going on. But what happened in that church, in the churches, what I saw happening was that the conservatives, the ones that wanted it to be the Old Testament and rejected what I called the New Testament view or the Christian view, the Christian view wasn't as good as the Old Testament because the women weren't as subservient. Jesus didn't look at it that way. So that wasn't working. So they went back to so there those people that we call evangelicals. But what happened was exactly what you're suggesting. What you just suggested is that the liberals like me that said, that's not what Christianity's supposed to be. Well, you left. And so all those good people, the moderates on up,
the real Christians.
The real Christians left. And what you've got is what we've got. And they're scary.
Right.
And I don't like them.
And even that's
and they've stolen my religion.
Yeah. Stay, fight.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And know that the truth of the gospel is on your side in that.
Yeah. It gets to be numbers after a while, and they're boring, and they can talk forever.
Yep. We did it again, guys.
Good.
8:24. Look at that.
Yeah, that was fun.
We're sorry the thing didn't. The hookup didn't work.
We were not trying to.
We're not trying to
ignore you.
We're not trying to silence you, so you only have our opinion. But we are monitoring who you are, who's watching, so you'll have a sticker on your car tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we've got your license plates numbers already, and we're processing that information.
We know where you are.
And we'll get back to you if we need to.
on my way back from Hollywood. With my tail between my legs, I knew people be wondering if I made good on my promise, what I said I'd do. But I didn't make my marquee mark. I'm not gonna get no sidewalk star. I was in an ad for an amusement park. Served Tom Hanks one night at the bar. Now I know what I am not. Still got no idea what I might be. Glad I gave it a shot. Now I'm looking for a new dream. There was one time I had gotten close to the sun, but my wax wings froze. That audition still fills me with fright, just standing there like a deer in lights. Oh, I knew what I was supposed to say. Just turn and point. They went that way. But after over an hour was spent, I still saying that way they went. Now I know what I am not. Still got no idea what I might be. Glad I gave it a shot. Now I'm looking for a new dream. The sidewalk in my old hometown, I turned the corner and was struck by a sound. It was coming from the Dream Cafe. The saxophone was playing, Turn the Page. I started singing and we nailed that song. Everybody started singing along. So if you're wondering where I'm off to next, Nashville, I guess. Now I know what I am not. Still got no idea what I might be. I'm gonna give it a shot, this new dream.
That is amazing.
That fits.
How did we do that?
How did we do that?
We were talking about new dreams. And you had a song about new dreams.
There we go.
That's amazing. That's a dream come true.
Living the dream. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. We will see you next time. Have a very next week.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you on the other side.
Safe travels. Tell your families we love them.
Much love. Oh, it's going to be new digs down here next time y'all tune in. It's going to have Lex's whole situation is going to be way different, and maybe we'll, I don't know.
Wendy, if you're watching, we saw you earlier. Have a good night.
I got to walk over there to get us out of here.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, I can do it right here. Bye.
We're going to fade away.
Take care.
Good work. That was fun. Miss you, Lex.
So.
Now I'm thinking of all these things I wanted to talk about.
Man, y'all both went on a good little talk. Y'all sound smart.
I was rambling there a little bit.
No, y'all sounded good.
It's hard to describe some of the big things.
That's amazing, that song, and what we were talking about at the beginning about